Hello, friends, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday, where I give you tips, advice, and encouragement on how you can live a love-fueled and healthy life. So today we are going to discuss how important environment is when you're trying to create a healthy lifestyle. Now, there is this crazy idea out there, and I'm sure you've heard it before, that becoming healthy is a sheer superhuman act of willpower and self-control and self-discipline. And I'm here to tell you that, maybe those have a small role, but it's really small. And a bigger influence is actually your environment, and whether or not it discourages or it encourages you to be healthy. So I want to empower you today and give you some suggestions on how you can optimize your home and even your workspace to integrate healthy habits into your life with ease. Now, before I get to those suggestions, I want to share a little bit of something with you that I've been experiencing while traveling and while living here in Italy, because I think it's a good example of just how influential environments are. Now, most recently, I had the chance to travel to Barcelona, and I've had so many friends that have visited Barcelona and they come back raving and they're like, oh my God, I want to live there the rest of my life. And so I finally got the chance to go, and I have to say that when I got there, it was immediately obvious why they loved it so much. Barcelona is one of the most livable cities that I have ever seen, and it absolutely supports its citizens to live in a healthy way that is easy and in a way that they don't have to think much to be healthy. There are these beautiful sidewalks that are all throughout the city that honestly are like glorified parks. They have trees lining them that separate the pedestrians from the traffic. They have benches where people can rest and socialize. They have ping pong tables. There's exercise equipment for adults and playgrounds and grass for dogs to run on. And I'm telling you, these are all throughout the city, and people do not need to go out of their way to go there. They just naturally walk through them on their way to work, on their way to friends, whatever. And you know what? I noticed how influential it was. I noticed elderly people taking in the sun on the bench. I noticed kids playing and families engaging with each other. I noticed people socializing. And the people who were walking, I noticed that they were walking slower. And you could see they were filled with contemplation and pleasure as they walked, not this sense of frenzy or rushing or having to get somewhere. And the next thing I noticed, and this is also true in Italy, is that fruit and vegetables are extremely accessible. Every single corner, every single block, there is a convenience store or a store that is specifically for fruit and vegetables for people to go to. And this makes a huge difference. And what the beautiful thing is, what I love, is that they don't use advertisements how we think of advertisements. They use their produce as advertisements. So they set out shelves with their pineapples, with their cantaloupe, with their nectarines, with their tomatoes for people to see. And you see this rainbow of colors you walk by, and you can't help but want to eat it as you pass or to pick some up on the way home. And when you buy from these places, you're not only feeding yourself, but you're supporting a local business, because all of these are local businesses. I also noticed that there's not as much marketing there as there is in the US, and neither is there in Italy here. The advertising is very minimal, so people can make their choices with more ease. And the advertisements that I have seen are not for really sugary things or junk food. They're from the grocery stores for fruit and vegetables, and it works. People are eating them all the time. I also noticed in Barcelona that there is a tax on sugary drinks like soda or excessively sugary fruit drinks. This also makes a difference, guys, because water's cheaper. So you're more likely to purchase water than you are soda. And I noticed how influential this was on the people there, and I notice it in my everyday life here in Italy, seeing how people are. People are more social, and they're more relaxed, and I noticed that people are in their natural form. There's no extreme. I haven't really seen anybody who's been really overly obese or anybody who's overly thin or even overly muscular. There's variance in body shapes and sizes, and it's so beautiful, and everybody's just in their natural form. So I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad if you don't live somewhere where the environment discourages you from being healthy, but I'm just trying to give you a contrast of what it can look like when environment is helping you. Because these people, they do not have a greater willpower than you do. They do not have greater self-discipline and self-control than you do. But they might live in a place that supports their goals more than maybe where you live. And I say this because I've lived in places where I feel encouraged to be healthy, and I've lived in places where I don't feel encouraged, and I feel like I have to drive an hour to see friends. I don't have, grocery stores aren't near, I have to drive really far to get to a grocery store. I have to drive really far to and from work, so I don't want to work out after work. And it's just, I get that life. It's really hard. And so I say this to you because I think so many of us put so much blame on ourselves if we're not healthy enough, if we're not skinny enough, if we're not muscular enough, if we're not eating healthy enough. And I just want you to just release that. You don't need that in your life, So take that blame off of yourself and do these things that can empower you. Maybe you can't redesign your entire city, but you can optimize your home for healthy living. And that's where I want to help you. And that's how I want to empower you. So I have 4 suggestions for you today, and I'm going to give you the home version and I'm going to give you the work version. So the first suggestion is to put water on display, and that really boosts your hydration. So I'm saying buy a beautiful pitcher, or if you already have one, use it and put it on display on your kitchen counter or on your kitchen table, because that will make you want to drink it more. Now, I have a water filter, but I know many people use water filters already on their sink, or they just drink from the tap water. Now, that's fine, but I have to say that when I look at a faucet, it doesn't exactly turn me on to drink, right? Like, I see my dirty dishes in there, and I don't want to go through that mess. I don't want to, go through the jungle just to get a glass of water. I'm not going to do that. So I suggest that you get a pitcher if you don't already have one, and try to refrain from putting it in the refrigerator. Put it on display, because every time you pass by that, you can fill up your water, and you'll be more hydrated. As for work, I recommend that you carry a water bottle to work, and preferably one that is clear and glass. Try to avoid plastic because that can emit toxins in your drink. But if you have a glass water bottle that you love, you're going to see how much you're drinking throughout the day and be encouraged to drink more. Now, I know some people really like stainless steel, and you can use that too, and that's also a great option. So the second suggestion I have for you, and you'll notice that making things visible is a big theme here. So I want you to really contemplate on that, of making healthy things visible and accessible. So the second suggestion is to put fruit and vegetables on the main stage of your life and in your kitchen. So how you can do this is to choose your favorite bowl in your house and make it a fruit bowl. Dedicate it to fruit, or you could even put some vegetables in there. And again, put this on the kitchen table next to your water pitcher or on your kitchen counter, and fill it with your favorite fruits and vegetables. Don't buy things that you don't like. Nobody has time for that. Similarly, with your refrigerator, unfortunately, many refrigerators are designed to have the vegetable crispers on the very bottom, and they're in in drawers, and they're just kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And instead, what takes center stage is the meat, the eggs, the dairy if you eat dairy. And you know what? I want you to reverse that. So I want your leafy greens, I want bell peppers, I want carrots, I want eggplants, I want those front and center on those main shelves. Give them the stage they deserve, because they are benefiting you so much. And in the drawers, go ahead and put your meat there, go ahead and put your eggs there, go ahead and put your dairy if you eat dairy in there. At work, this is one of my favorite suggestions. I recommend that you take the fruit bowl idea, because so many of us at work will have a candy drawer, right? And if you're like me, you want a little afternoon pick-me-up to give you some energy, and preferably something sweet and chocolatey. Now, it's okay to want a little extra boost and to want some energy, but try to make that transition to something healthier. And do that by taking a bowl of fruit to work, again, with your favorite fruits. And if you want to take it a step further, and I know food can be really sensitive and people don't always want to share, but this is how you change the people around you too, not only yourself. So you can take that bowl of fruit to work and buy a little bit extra, buy some more apples, buy some more clementines, and offer them to your coworkers or to your boss as they walk by, or put a little sign on there that says, eat, take one of these, they're for free. And maybe over time you can discuss with your coworkers that it can be a collective, that each of you can bring something to the table or to the fruit bowl, and it's more communal. And then you're influencing your office to be healthier. So what number are we on? Oh, the third suggestion is using a little bit of color psychology. And, something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and something that I have a hard time with, is portion and eating healthy portions that serve us, right? I am definitely somebody that will eat everything that's on my plate and what I am served. Even if it's more than I can handle, that's just like how I'm wired, right? And my cousin has a great term for this. He calls it the clean plate society. And, when we were growing up, my parents were really strict about us eating everything because they didn't want to waste a single thing. And I love that idea of no wasting. And I definitely encourage you to not waste in your household. But I also encourage you to eat sizes and eat portions that really serve you and nourish you and not make you feel uncomfortable. So I would say swap out some of your bigger kitchenware for more medium-sized bowls and plates. And the color psychology I was talking about is you can actually get cooler colors like blue or turquoise or purple, and that provides a more cooling, a more calming effect, and makes you eat a little bit slower, and also makes you serve a little bit less, or at least a healthier size. The opposite of that is having, red, yellow, or orange type of kitchenware, because actually those colors stimulate appetite. And if you need proof for this, look at any fast food chain, right? There's McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, KFC. They all use that because they know that it gets your stomach grumbling, it makes you want to eat more. So just keep that in mind. As for work, the work suggestion goes, is I suggest buying a variety of sizes for the containers you take to work. And make sure you buy, smaller containers and more medium-sized containers, and see if you could even find some more blue color or opaque color, because that'll have that same cooling, calming effect. Now the last suggestion, and again, this is in the theme of making things visible and accessible. I want you to put your exercise equipment on display and within reach. So one of my favorite stories is we have some family friends called the Bertellis, they're Italian, and Nonno, the grandfather, lives in their home, and he lives in the extra room, and he's one of the sweetest guys. He must be in his mid-90s right now. He's super healthy, he's an avid gardener, wonderful cook, and last time I was over there, or maybe this was a while back, it wasn't the last time, it was a while ago, I noticed that Nonno had this rubber ball dangling from his doorway, and every single time he entered and every single time he left, this would hit him in his forehead. Now, when we saw that, we were like, no, you're crazy. What are you doing? Why are you doing that, man? That's nuts. And he had the best response that totally changed my perspective. He said, let me tell you, right? He said, let me tell you, I have this here because it reminds me to work out. And he pointed above the ball, and we noticed that there were some weights on the doorway. And every single time that ball would hit him in the forehead, he would use those weights 2, 3, 4 times. And he was going in and out of that room all day long. So imagine, that really added up. And it changed my perspective that he knew that he wasn't going to go out of his way to lift weights, but he knew that he had to keep his bones strong to live longer. And he used behavior psychology in his favor. He decided to implement something that would nudge him and force him to work out rather than just relying on his willpower and self-control alone. So in my household, I have a yoga mat, I have resistance bands, I have booty bands, I have, Christian and I have a foam roller, and we use these every single day because they're right smack dab in our living room. right where we can see them. And you don't have to get fancy. You don't have to buy a treadmill or a bicycle. Like, you can go really cheap and find things that are really fun and that work for you. In one of my apartments, I actually had a hula hoop and a jump rope. And yeah, there are adult versions of these things. I'm short enough so I could buy the jump rope from the kids section, and the hula hoop they already have in different sizes in the kids section that are like $5 at Walmart. So, if you want to go old school and be like a little kid again, do it. Go buy that Skip It if you want to. Have fun with it. And what's fun about those kinds of things is that when your friends come over, they're going to do that too. When I had that hula hoop and that jump rope, when my friends came over, they would always like try to hula hoop, and we'd have little contests, and it was so much fun. And this is an example again of how you can influence the people around you. So I know that was a lot of information. Let me just add one more thing before I forget. As for the work for making exercise accessible, consider taking in some little arm weights or some leg weights at work. I know at places like TJ Maxx, sometimes they have those things on sale. So keep an eye out. You could probably even find something on Amazon. But just make sure that it's visible and it's accessible. Don't put it away in a drawer. Put it on your desk where you see it. So let me do a little recap, because that was a lot of information, and maybe you join me later, or maybe you skip to this end because I know I'm talking a lot. So let's recap. Environment plays a larger role in influencing how healthy you are, more than willpower and self-control and self-discipline. So be sure to optimize your home and your workspace in a way that serves you. You can do this by putting water on display to encourage you to hydrate, by filling a beautiful water pitcher and putting it on your table or your kitchen counter, and taking a water bottle to work. You can fill a fruit bowl with your favorite fruit and put that on display in your kitchen. And you can also fill the main shelves in your refrigerator with leafy greens, bell peppers, and any other vegetable that you love instead of bread or meat or eggs or dairy. You can do the same at work and use a fruit bowl as an afternoon snack, and to encourage your office mates to do the same by offering them whatever is in that fruit bowl. Then you can use a little bit of color psychology and use blue or cool color plates and bowls for your benefit, because they encourage you to eat more healthier portions rather than vibrant colors like red, orange, and yellow. And I encourage you to also use more medium size to keep your portions more healthy without having to think about it. And lastly, I want you to keep your exercise equipment accessible and front and center in your living room. Go ahead and get some of your favorite workout equipment, whether that is a yoga mat or a hula hoop, and put it front and center in your living room where you can see it and where you have access to it every single day. You can do the same at work by taking in some little weights that you can have right on your desk, and you are reminded to use those every single day. So, I want you to just choose one of these this week. Okay, choose the easiest one for you and implement it, and tell me how it goes for you. And I want to remind you that all of these suggestions, they're not only for you, because it's not just about the individual. It's about everyone around you. And maybe you've seen these studies, maybe you haven't. But they have studies out there that say that if your 3 best friends are obese, then you are 55% more likely to be obese as well. Now, what they don't tell you is that the opposite can also be true. That when you lead by example, or you have people in your life who are healthy and who have healthy habits, you're more likely to do that. So lead by example and encourage your friends and family to do the same. And you don't have to preach to them, but just show them the way. When they come over, they'll see how you are in your own life, and they'll want to take that back, or they'll at least do it in your own home. So please choose one of these to implement. I hope that was so helpful, and I just have one more announcement, so hang tight. Now, my website is under construction right now, and I'm taking a little break from blogging. So I want to thank you guys for just being so supportive of Ana Con Amor from the beginning, and I really want to keep staying in touch even though I'm reconstructing my website a little bit. Now, the reason I am reconstructing my website is because next week I get my 6-month certificate to become a health coach, and I can start practicing being a health coach. That means I will be opening up my doors and my heart to you to work with you as a health coach if you have some wellness goals that you want to work towards. So until that happens, the best way for us to stay in touch is through my newsletter. So if you want more inspiration, more positivity, more love, go ahead and head over to the link in my bio and sign up for my newsletter. And you're not only going to get some weekly positivity, but you're also going to receive exclusive promotions on working with me as a health coach and be the first to receive free resources when I release them. So head on over and sign up right now. And if you already are signed up, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for joining me today. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day. Ciao.